If it scares you, you should probably be doing it. Welcome to McBain Moments. So, I was having a conversation yesterday with a friend about things along the lines of social anxiety and overcoming those fears that hold you back from doing the things you really want to do. And it got me to thinking about, how do you overcome that inner feeling that you can't do something? How do you overcome the need to keep yourself in a safe place where you can't have the potential to be hurt? And I ran across a quote, and I don't remember who said it. And so I apologize to whoever the quote was by in advance. I'll have to look it up. It's, if it scares you, you should probably be doing it. And what I am not saying is do something stupid. And we all do stupid things, but don't do something that's needlessly reckless, right? If you're going to base jump, make sure you have a parachute. Don't just willy-nilly jump off a cliff in a wingsuit and you think you're going to survive. But if you're someone who has trouble with large crowds, start off by putting yourself into a small crowd, dealing with a few more people than you're normally comfortable with, and keep doing it until you're comfortable doing it. And then once you're comfortable doing that, go to situations where you have to add a few more. And by doing so, what you're doing is you're programming your brain to overcome that anxiety. And it's going to take time. This is not an overnight process. Trust me. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt for it. I still have issues. As I'm sure you've all figured out by now, I work in sales and marketing. I have to go out and meet people I don't know a lot. And although in my current position, not as much as I used to. And what that often meant was going into groups of people I had absolutely nothing in common with and trying to find some sort of common thread to talk to them about for networking purposes. And one of the types of groups out there, and I was not ready for this type of interaction at the time, so I was not able to overcome that anxiety, is Business Networkers International, which is a fantastic way to build business networks. The way that they handle things, the way they operate works really well. And so this is not a criticism of BNI. This is a reflection upon how I handled BNI, or how I didn't handle BNI at the time. And this was probably 10 years ago. And so because of that social anxiety, that social awkwardness, not knowing how to deal with people I didn't know very well, I wasn't able to interact with the other members of the group. And I wasn't able to come up with good presentations, because what they do is you give a 30-second commercial and then you talk about one of your products and you go into all of these little nuanced things. And I had a hard time doing it. And then you're supposed to, you have to know certain social etiquette. It's a great way to learn social etiquette because it's an expectation. And so you go around the table, you throw your business cards in a basket and you talk about things and you thank people who gave you referrals and all this other wonderful stuff. It's a great way to build friendships and build networks. And this isn't an advertisement for BNI either, but I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't know what to do. And so what ended up happening is I'd stay kind of tucked in a corner trying to only talk to one person in a group of 20 or 30. And that doesn't work ever. And these aren't necessarily your peer group. Like, you can put up with it in high school because you've known all these kids since you were 2. But it's totally different when you have a bunch of strangers and you still feel like a kid and everyone else is in their mid-30s and they're all the same age. You didn't grow up together. You may not even be from the same region. And so to overcome that, what I ended up doing is I forced myself into situations in a controlled manner, or at least a reasonably controlled manner, to have to overcome that social anxiety. And what ended up happening is I ended up joining the Society for Creative Anachronism, which is probably the largest group of introverts you have ever met in your life. We're all geeks, do the medieval thing, we fight, we cook, we drink, we have fun. And so by subjecting myself to a more controlled environment where I would experience that social anxiety, I started to overcome that social anxiety. And I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone. There may be other factors involved, but it's worth a shot. Give it a try. If you're normally comfortable in a group of 5, go to a group of 8. If once you get comfortable with 8, move it up to 12. Find reasons to do these things. Or even put yourself into a crowd where you can remain anonymous, largely anonymous, but go out of your way to meet one person. And it's these little steps. And this is again, you got to grind this out. This isn't something that happens overnight. Everyone seems to think that, you can overcome this stuff just by one epiphany and it changes everything. It's not how life works. Occasionally it works like that, but as a general rule, that's not how life works. It's a gradual progression of working through every little issue that we have, because as humans, we are immensely complex. We all have problems, right? A lot of us get stuck up here. And to get out of here, we need to think about, okay, this is where my limit is. Let's move half a step beyond that limit. And then next time I'm going to do the same thing. And once I'm comfortable and my limit's been pushed back, we're going to move another half step. And you just keep that progression going. And eventually you overcome it. And it's not going to be easy. And it's not going to be quick. But it's going to be worth it. Because you would be amazed at the difference in your life. Not necessarily overcoming social anxiety, but knowing how to handle it can make for you. And so I would encourage you to go to your support group, because we all have a support group, whether we want to admit it or not, whether it's a mastermind group or it's our family or our spouse or our friends. Let them know what's bothering you and how you want to overcome it, and come up with a way to do so. Because that's how you take that next step in your life. Good luck out there. This has been a McBain moment. Yeah, this has been a McBain moment.